You mentioned that when you were first in Taiwan, you met kind of an international group of other students who were learning Mandarin. Does that mean that Taiwan is like a pretty international country? Like, is it pretty diverse in terms of having lots of foreigners there?
So I would say now it's a huge difference compared to when I first arrived here, like 14 years ago. Because when I first got here, I always lived like in the middle of Taipei. Like I literally live on the same street now as when I first came here, like 14 years ago. And when I first arrived, I saw like one other than like school area and the campus, I saw like one other like white person per week. That was like the average when I arrived. Now it's like you meet every day. You meet one every like 10, 15 minutes if you're out walking around, you know. And I think a big factor to that is like COVID actually, and how Taiwan was managing the whole COVID situation. Because if you compare like before and after COVID, there's so many more like both exchange students and like students in general, like core or like program students, but also a lot more foreigners now because they also the Taiwan government work more together with like European and American companies. So it's a lot more foreigners on like all level of life. And when I arrived, it was literally only like students or English teachers. And people would ask me like that's how you know that you become an adult in Taiwan. Because like my first 5 years, they would be like, oh, you're a student. And I still remember like the first time someone asking me like, oh, hi, you're a foreigner. You must be an English teacher. Because that means like, okay, now you look old. You look too old to be a student. So an English teacher is like the only option. But now it's like we have people like, I think the biggest thing is they're doing a very good like environmental push, and they're creating these like wind turbines all around the island. And those are mainly done with like Europeans. So there's like a lot of foreigners that are here just to do that. So I think that has also like made a huge push. And people are also aware of just because you're a foreigner in Taiwan does not mean that you're an English teacher now. Before COVID, there was like not a chance.
So like you interview a lot of different people on your channel from all over the world, right? That live in Taiwan. Would you say that most of them are there for economic reasons? Like they moved specifically for a job like you're talking about?
No, like no, I haven't met a single one who has actually moved to Taiwan for a job that was like already like planned. It's either people are moving to Taiwan because they are studying either Chinese or same as me, like they just wanted to go somewhere and Taiwan ended up being an option. Or especially like during COVID, a lot of people just wanted to travel, and Taiwan was like the only country that was open and that did not have COVID. So a lot of people just came because their choice, their plan A was closed. And then mainly like it's like China, Japan, Korea. That's like the main Asian places for people who want to either study or have like a career. But there was like a good like 2 years where Taiwan just like picked up every single one, like all the students and also all the talent. And then I've met a lot of people who are just like, oh yeah, the plan was to move to Taiwan, stay here until like, for example, the Korean border opened up. But then they've realized like just how great Taiwan is. So they have stayed here now for like, 5 years.
And I guess taking it back to your story, it was also kind of random how you ended up there, right? Like you did this exchange and met this girl and all that kind of stuff. But like 14 years later, what is it about Taiwan that really keeps you there? Why do you stay? What is in Taiwan that you can't get in another place?
What is in another place that I cannot get in Taiwan? That's the question. Like you can, first of all, you can get everything that you want. Like I think Taiwan is the perfect mix between like West and East, because if you want to go like to like the American brand name stores and you want to have like the luxury shopping experience, you go to like Taipei 101 Xinyi, and literally I can walk to Taipei 101 in 10 minutes from where I am right now. But if I walk in the other direction, I have like a 2-hour like hiking path up in the middle of the mountains. And I have like the most like local Taiwanese shop with like a temple in the middle of like a garden. And it's so accessible, like in Taipei specifically. But then literally like yesterday for like a YouTube video, we took a car ride, like 2 hours from Taipei. And we ended up in a place called like Lalashan, which is like just peach farms everywhere. And it's 2,000 meters high mountain. So it's like 2 kilometers up that you can drive to with a car. And like the roads are just like, it's asphalt all the way. And it's just like super convenient. There's like a parking up on like 2,000 meters up, 2 hours from like Taipei 101. And in between, like you have like countless of waterfalls. You have a beach, like with a car, maybe like it's 40, 50 minutes away from like Taipei and like Taipei 101. I made a YouTube video, like really pushing it, to be honest. But I made a YouTube video when I was on my scooter, and I saw, like, I passed by Taipei 101. I went by and swam in a waterfall. I went to the beach, and I drove up to a mountain, which is like the highest mountain of Taipei. I don't know how high it is, but the highest mountain of Taipei. And I saw a volcano, all in like one day. And then I went back to another beach to see the sunset. That's the thing that you can do in Taiwan,
And it's such a small country, all of that in one small little place.
Exactly. And the other thing that because this kind of like, I mean, it sounds ridiculous to say, but like you kind of get tired of this, and it's not something that you would do every day, right? Like if you've seen one waterfall, it will take a while before you go back to see the same waterfall. But the fact that makes me stay here on like a day-to-day basis is just like the convenience. And we have the world famous like 7-Eleven stores, which is like, it's in a completely different level here in Taiwan compared to like the US or in Europe. Like you do everything in the convenience stores. And I think Taiwan has like, now they might be like the third or second highest ratio per like person and convenience store. And there's literally like a convenience store in any like block in entire Taiwan. Like yesterday, we were up like 2,000 meters high mountain, and of course they have a 7-Eleven there, and you get almost like all the food there if you want, but you pay your bills. You can go in and you can do like dry cleaning. If you want to ship something across Taiwan, you go into one 7-Eleven, you tell them, hey, I want this shipped to my friend down in South. Okay, yeah, tomorrow it will be at that 7-Eleven. So everything is done at 7-Elevens, and you don't need anything else to survive for at least 14 years.